Welcome back to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast, where we bring you the stories, strategies, and insights from the innovators shaping the future of aesthetics, healthcare, and business. Today's guest is someone who perfectly embodies what happens when clinical excellence meets entrepreneurial vision. Starting her career in 1985, she has worked across multiple healthcare disciplines, including surgical, orthopedic, gynecology, ENT, and renal nursing. What began as a passion for patient care evolved into a passion for helping people feel confident in their own skin. Her journey from clinician to business owner, educator, mentor, and industry leader is an inspiring example of what's possible when purpose, passion, and perspective come together. Let me introduce Nurse Jodie Fisher. Jodie Fisher is the founder and clinical director of Nurse Jodie Clinic, a leading cosmetic and skin clinic based in Queensland's Sunshine Coast. With nearly 40 years of nursing experience and over a decade specialising in aesthetic medicine, Jodie has built a reputation for delivering natural results, exceptional patient care, and industry-leading clinical standards. After launching her clinic in 2018, she rapidly transformed the business into a thriving multi-location operation while building a team of highly skilled nurses and therapists. Beyond clinical practice, Jodie is a mentor to emerging cosmetic nurses, a business leader, and an internationally recognised speaker who is passionate about raising standards across the aesthetic industry. Her mission is simple: to help people look and feel their best while empowering other practitioners to build successful and sustainable careers within the aesthetic medical industry. Jodie, let's start at the beginning. Good morning, Jodie. How are you?
I'm awesome, thank you.
Fantastic. How's the weather up north?
Well, it's been beautiful. A little bit chilly this morning. We can certainly feel the change in the air, but it's beautiful.
Well, it's freezing in Sydney. I wish I was in Cairns.
Sunshine Coast.
Oh, Sunshine Coast. Sorry, I always get that confused. Well, even nicer.
Yeah.
And Jodie, I'm going to dive right in, and it would be fantastic if you could tell us about your journey from the beginning and how you began your nursing career and the incredible experience that has led you to where you are today.
Okay, so I was never going to be a nurse. So my whole growing up childhood, I had a passion for being a hairdresser. Spent my holidays with my auntie just helping out, perming rods and, shampooing hair, and just loved it. My mother was a nurse though, and she was a beautiful, caring woman. And I guess it's something that I grew into. So after school, she got me into as an AIN position in infant health, and I was looking after malnourished babies, feeding them, and that led me to apply for enrolled nursing, and I got into that, and it just became my career and my passion, and I loved it. So I think I just like people.
Definitely. You are definitely a people person. And then obviously being a nurse brought you a lot of joy and was a very rewarding career. How did you move from that medical traditional nursing into aesthetics?
Perfect. Yeah. So I was nursing for about 40 years, well, 30 years. But back 30 years ago, I also, on maternity leave, did a diploma of beauty and massage. And I just love that aesthetics part of the just pampering people, helping them to feel good about themselves. Did it for a little while in a salon whilst I was on leave. But nursing was far more rewarding financially, so stuck with that. And then about 14 years ago, I saw an advert they were looking for a cosmetic nurse and a beauty therapist, 2 roles advertised in the same location. And I was like, oh, I've got both. I hadn't done any cosmetic nursing, but willing to learn. And also I hadn't had much experience as a beauty therapist, but passionate. So 6 interviews later, I managed to secure the good job. So that was where it all started. And it was just so rewarding just being able to combine the two, like just amalgamate the two and have holistically work together was awesome.
Oh, that would have been fantastic. What an exciting new role for you.
It was definitely, and it wasn't something that I was always like, I honestly didn't think I would be a cosmetic nurse. I'm very natural myself and not, I don't feel like overdone. So it literally did scare me. I did say at the interview, I won't have to have Botox myself, will I? And they kind of didn't answer and just laughed. So, yeah, it surprised me as well, but it has been certainly very rewarding for me. Yeah.
We do see lots of extremes in the media, which aren't really, I guess, a correct reflection of the majority of the industry.
That's
But
true.
when you do say, aesthetic injections, people immediately think of huge lips, huge cheekbones, or, really scary looking people.
They do, they do. So we're trying to dispel all that. That's
Yes,
so
absolutely. And Jodie, my gosh, it's so hard taking the jump from, I'll say, a PAYG job. There's security, and I guess you feel a little bit more certainty when you've got a job that's paying you a paycheck every week, and it's this, it's just that little comfort bubble. How did you for a long time dream about it, think about it? How did you take the leap to open your own clinic and launch Nurse Jodie Clinic?
Yeah, to me, it wasn't something that I did pursue. Funnily enough, I actually did 2 years of cosmetic nursing in this clinic and then had a break. They had started to do cool sculpting and things like that and wanted me to push that, and it really wasn't something that I was looking for. I felt uncomfortable with it. So, and I just think also like the stress in my first 2 years, I was scared. The responsibility of looking after somebody's face and making the right decisions and perfecting it, that they were happy with. I was always worried, are they happy? Are they, have I done the right thing? It was a lot. So I actually went back to nursing full time again and was a level 2 on a surgical orthopedic ward for 2 years, and it became stressful. It's the whole industry is changing. We didn't really have the time that we would like to give our patients anymore. There was just a lot of factors, and I actually had to go on leave, stress leave. And it was in that time where another doctor reached out and said, would you like to, I know you're a nurse, cosmetic nurse, would you like to look after my clinic a couple of days a week? And I said, yes. So I did that just thinking it was just helping him out, but I fell in love with it again. And for this time, it just felt just clicked. There wasn't that fear about it. I don't know. It was just growth and maturity. Saw it in. I don't know. It was it just came naturally. And he ended up wanting to open his own clinic. We were just renting rooms, and he said, "Jodie, would you like to continue taking over these spaces where I've been injecting from?" Which was incredible. But it was like a divorce to me. I was like super nervous, super scared. But I'm like, nothing has really changed. You're still doing the same thing I was doing. And he was still wanting to be my Skyping, scripting doctor. So it was a no-brainer. So I feel incredibly blessed that it was really handed to me, which I don't think I ever would have done that had he not done that for me.
Goodness me, wow, it was really meant to be.
It really was, yeah. Because I'm not a risk taker, and I just don't think I would have taken that leap. I did like security. And from there, to build that, I was doing various locations around the Sunshine Coast, but it became really apparent to me over that 12 months that if I was in one location, people that were lived in a totally different area would still travel to come and see me because that day and time suited them. So it just showed me, look, if I just stabilized myself in one position and I wasn't packing in and out, that they would come to me. So I started looking around for just a one-stop shop, which worked for me. Yeah.
What an incredible realization to have that pool where your clients are willing to go anywhere to see you. They've got that loyalty.
Yeah. The other thing too, when you're operating out of somebody else's location, it was other beauty skin clinics, and they were doing things skin treatments that necessarily you didn't agree with or align with, but there was nothing you could do about it. So that was another element of it as well. So just being able to have autonomy over that and help our patients in all areas of their skin journey was, just really important.
Well, something I just picked up on actually in that point you've made is that you continually refer to your patients as your patients, whereas I think in a skin clinic, often they call them clients. So there is that difference with you being a medical practitioner compared to, I guess a beauty therapist. Obviously you have both, but they're not your clients. They're your patients.
Mm. It's something that I've grappled with, clients, patients, but, we do bring it back to it. It is a medical treatment procedure that we're doing, and just having that experience and knowledge, just really being able to, the patients, the patients do value and trust us. And, sometimes I'm even in awe that, there is other people in my clinic who would probably have more knowledge in skin than I do, and I know that for a fact, but they still value, I guess, my whatever I say.
Ethos. Mm.
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's something that really has served me well. I'm sort of going off in a tangent that, we really do collaborate together, and I'm really honest and transparent. And if it's not my field of expertise and there's someone in my clinic that I know who will have a better understanding, I will just say, look, I'd like to invite Christy into this conversation and have a consult with you if she has time, otherwise reschedule them back in to see that person, because I know that they're going to get a better understanding and a better outcome in the way in which she directs them. So I think that really, they see that integrity, I guess. I don't know it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love that. And I think most medical professionals have that approach because they come from, like yourself, from the traditional hospital system where there is a collaborative approach. Someone has a terrible trauma, it's a whole case, and the orthopedic surgeon will work with the plastic surgeon who will work with the OT and the physio and it really is embraced that collaborative approach. Whereas in business, sometimes people have that fear of, I'm going to lose a client or I'm going to lose revenue.
Yeah.
And there's so much strength around your branding. You've got a really strong personal brand and business brand, which your team have all embraced. How did you come about that? How did the Nurse Jodie brand begin and become this amazing force of pink?
Pink was my favorite color. And it was just, I guess, in my clinic, that's my expression. So it was just a flair that I was able to just, enjoy and embrace at work, whereas you're probably not necessarily able to do it at the home. And then it just, yeah, it did become our branding. So I'm really conscious of the clothes that I buy. Is it going to fit photographically if I'm wearing it out? All those kinds of things. And we just wanted to be different as well. It's okay to be different. And I think even in the beginning, I would compare myself a lot. And I'm like, even doubt, oh, should I change the pink, to go along with more muted, stone taupe colors. But I think it just really served us well. People come in and they're just going, oh, and they just feel so at home and so comfortable. And it was really what we wanted them to feel. We wanted them to be able to just walk in and not feel like they have to, if they've been to the gym, rush home and have a shower and get dressed up to come in and then feel awkward and uncomfortable if they couldn't. And it's like, just come as you are. Come as you are. We accept you. We love you. Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. And I love the pink. The pink's fantastic. But you're right. A lot of clinics are white a taupe, a very minimalist and beige.
It's okay to be different. And yeah.
And what would you say to clinic owners listening who are, refurbishing or going out on their own? What mistakes do you see when people are trying to build a premium personal brand?
Oh, I honestly don't know if I see mistakes. I only know what I do and what I do well. I honestly don't look around a lot. I stay in my own lane because even in the beginning, I would get upset about, I would hear that, I might have one appointment in for the day, and I'd be here, oh, booked out until 3 months, and I'm like, holy dolly, oh, they're doing well. And, it was my marketing manager at the time, Jodie, you have to understand, they're probably not, it's what they're portraying online. I'm like, okay. And she'd bring me back down to reality. So it's like, you know what? It was unhealthy for me so I actually unfollowed. If they're in my local area, and I had to remind myself, I'm just starting. They've been in business 5 years or 8 years, and they're so much further than where I am. So, just staying I guess, understanding where you're at and just seeing the vision and the purpose and the destiny that you're developing and you're growing into, but be at peace where you are right now. So I don't know what other people are doing, to be honest. I just think be authentic, be you, and work within your capacity. There was times where I just had a dermapen skin needling device and my injectables. And, I knew there was other clinics that could offer so much more. And if someone came in and needed more, I would say, look, I can do this, but really, ultimately, you're going to get a better result if you went down the road and you did this. And, I could have lost a client or two, I may have, but it also showed, look, I'm looking after you and your best interests. It's not about me just taking your money. And sometimes, they would say, hey, look, I'm happy with skin needling, and I know that it will brighten the skin, but it wasn't going to depigment them as much as they required. So it was just being honest with my patient and building trust, which became loyal clients, patients. Yeah.
And Jodie, you've grown from obviously a solo practitioner injecting and doing microneedling into a large team, which requires, oh my gosh, HR, I don't know, team building, culture, all these skills that come with, I guess, managing people and leadership that to me, really, really tough skills with all the different personalities and generations out there. How was that transition and how did you do it?
I guess we learn as we go, and no one in business is, they all have done it progressively as well. And so, it just came to a point where I was super busy and booked out solid. And it was like, okay, if I have 2 weeks off and need a break or a holiday with my husband, there was no injectable service. And really, it just was a no-brainer. I need to replace myself. And so I just started looking for who would I want that to be. I would want that person to emulate myself, but to be their own person as well. And yeah, so we found our person and it just began by let's develop her and create, another amazing injector that people fall in love with. And it was awesome. And I just, that snowballed from her getting busy and then needing to onboard somebody else and looking for our next person. And every time you bring in somebody, there's another transition, there's another change of, people getting to know how we all fit, where do you fit in, how do you get along with one another. We all have different personalities. But I think ultimately we're looking for the same person with the same heart, the same vision, the same compassion for our patients, the same empathy. And so when that aligns, it just all comes together beautifully. That's our main. None of my actual staff members they've all come and learnt the job, learnt the role. They've been nurses, but they haven't been cosmetic nurses. And I just think if you've got that heart and the inner beings of what we're looking for, the character, everything else is teachable.
That's beautiful. And did you have to learn any new skills in order to manage a big team?
We're always learning. I'm still learning. It's always really, it's self-development. I make mistakes. I probably have told somebody off the wrong way and have had to apologize. And I think it becomes family. We make mistakes in family, and I've learnt from, I guess, I didn't have great managers. I had horrible managers that didn't like me. And I just didn't want to be them either. And what would have worked for me? How would have I had been able to function and operate and flourish? I guess I picked up on those things. So I try. Yeah.
We all do, don't we? It's constant evolution of learning and growing, and I guess, I don't know, does anyone ever master anything?
Exactly. Yeah. We're all learning and evolving. Even now, like there was a question I was looking at and I was like, sometimes, what has the hardest thing been? And it's always the hardest is what we're going through now because we've already gone through the past and, so whatever we're going through, it's another transition.
Yeah. And how do you maintain a healthy culture within the clinic?
Yeah. I think, one of our values is that we support each other. Teamwork is key. There's no competition. We really, praise and enjoy others' successes, or if they have a great day of revenue, it's like we applaud them, we get alongside them. And it's really like I just really have this go-give spirit where, we're not vying for patients. If I'm busy, I will step out and say, look, I'm going to take a bit longer with this patient. I need some more time. Could you see if my next patient wouldn't mind you treating them? And, it's that give and take. And, they don't become my patients or your patients. It's like, we're here for the patient and what's going to work best for them. So I really try to take that out of the equation. And if there's any niggles, upsets, I try to address it straight away. And, because we work a lot together, and I hear some of the staff that have worked in big hospitals and I'm like, oh, it's different here. And I'm like, well, it has to be different because we're smaller, we're a unit, we spend a lot of time together. So, you might have been able to hide in a treatment room or down the corridor. Well, now you can't because we actually have to work synergistically together. So we need to be, there for one another. And there's times where life happens, but we're there we're there for each other, and we step in those situations, and it might be family drama or something like that. But as long as it's not bickering and niggling in a house, well, that we're there. Otherwise I sort that out. I'm like, that's not okay. It's not okay to talk like that or respond like that. Let's let's not be reactive. Let's, think about others and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine that with the different generations, it's really hard because I find when I'm talking to my kids, they look at me like I'm an alien and I'm like, oh my goodness, I've done what you've done and I wish that I didn't do that. Oh gosh, it's just so hard. And my daughter says, you're rage baiting me. And I was like, what is rage bait? I've never even heard this term. And I'm like, no, how you react to someone is on you. It's not, them. And she's like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. There's all those terminologies I don't understand and they say, and I'm like, they laugh and I laugh,
Well, and they text. I find it so much easier that if I was upset with you for something, I would pick up the phone and say, hey, Jodie, you really upset me, blah, blah, blah. Whereas they will send novels.
Yes. Yeah, we've had that as well. And, in the end, I call them in for a meeting and say, let's just chat about this at work. And honestly, you get we can read things so differently from a text, and actually when you get to the nuts and bolts of it and actually communicate, it really just simmers it down, and it's like, "Oh, okay." And it's all about understanding, isn't it?
Absolutely. And yes, oh my goodness, talking in person with someone is so much easier than
Yeah.
communicating by text and email.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. And talking about the years of evolution in cosmetic medicine, what have you seen change over the years you've been in this industry?
I think it's gone from a lot of focus on just your injectables from, your anti-wrinkle and your fillers to more skin, looking after your skin, prevention, all those kinds of things. Body treatments were a sort of a really big thing with your cool sculpting and things like that, fat cavitation, all those kinds of things. I think it's all of it. It's calm, it's gone, or it's settled. And I think it's now really just an overall holistic approach to looking after your skin, which is it's good. Yeah.
You are 100% correct. What do they say? Healthy skin is in.
Yes, healthy skin. And, I always have this analogy of, and I think it's educating our patients as well, changing their mindset that one treatment's not going to fix anything. It look best for a little while or temporary, but, even your IPL for pigmentation, I say you're going to it will rebound, or there'll be more coming, and you need to redo this in 6 to 12 months. So they're knowing that this is just not a one and done. This is a journey. This is a lifetime together, and I often just bring it back to, you're wanting to lose weight, you hit the gym and in the diet and all of those things. But once you get to that, your weight loss, you don't just stop. You've got to maintain it now, and you've got to keep at those things to keep it balanced and intact. So the same with our skin, it just doesn't stop once it's amazing now, let's stop. Yeah. And I think that comes down to educating our patients. Yeah.
Definitely. And is there anything that excites you in the trends and the future of aesthetic medicine?
Probably not really. We're all waiting for that magic something. And every time something comes out, I'm like, oh, is that it? And then, you get excited for a little bit, but it's like, oh, it's not, it's still just, it's just an adjunct. And so I think it's definitely multifactorial, multi-layers of the skin, multiple different modalities or treatments to holistically all work together. And it's really just, creating that journey with the patient. And I think that's what keeps them coming back as well, and why our business continues to grow and sustain itself. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there any devices or modalities in your clinic that you absolutely love, couldn't live without?
There is, and every year, like I'll sit down with the girls and the team, and we'll go over our treatment plans and our devices, and we'll look at around it, other things that are coming out or have been using. I'm like, what we have, is it cutting it? Is it doing what it needs to do? Are we servicing our patients well? Are we missing something, or are we getting the results that we love for them? And we are 100% happy with what we have. We're not dissatisfied. We have Candela devices. I've just got two. We've got 4 of them, but 2 of them are the same. So we actually got 2 of each. Got a Nautilus. So busy that we needed another one. And we've got the Pro Matrix RF micro needling and sublation. And they're working every day. We'll order stock for the tips, and I think we've got enough, and we'll double it, and we just run out and have to reorder frequently. So yeah, they're good. We know they work. We see the results. Our patients see the results. There's, one device covers 21 treatment indications. So it's, we don't need anything else, to be honest, And again, though, I often look at a CO2 laser and think, I would love one. But then I think of our patients and the return on investment, and I know that it wouldn't be as utilized as much as what we already have, because people, not necessarily, they would like a slower, more comfortable journey than a one-off big treatment and a frightening treatment and be done, and even then may have to do that twice. So yeah, I think we've been wise in that respect.
Yeah, downtime's very hard. And I imagine the Sunshine Coast, it's even tougher because you have sun all year round.
All year round, and they don't want it. They want to be at the beach.
Oh, yeah, you can't cover CO2 and go to the beach.
That's right.
And when you obviously started looking into devices, you had your microneedling, you're doing your injectables, things are sailing along nicely. It must have been so difficult. I mean, I can't even imagine how many sales reps you met and different modalities and devices, there were out there. What advice would you give practitioners looking to invest in technology?
Yeah, it was hard. It was a minefield, and you can spend from 50,000 up to 250,000. It was just like, whoa. I was very scared. Like, are we going to get the return on investment? It's a big outlay, all those kinds of things. And I didn't want to waste money also on a device that, didn't deliver. But I think I was really, and I did look at 3 different ones. I was able to, what really, sometimes it comes down to the salesperson, the rapport you have as well, and being able to have a treatment and understand it and go, yes, that's what I was looking for. And just, there's another company, and, it would do one thing, but then I would need another device to do another thing. And so, having one thing and our space in our clinic, that was a good thing for me too. This modality could do multiple things, and it wasn't cluttering up our clinic because of multiple devices everywhere. So that was a really good, and I could add things as we grew as well. So like if you couldn't afford all the hand pieces, initially I was very scared of laser. I didn't want laser. I didn't want to introduce it. But obviously, as you grow and you learn and you get more confident, well, then it came a point where I wanted to introduce, the laser and have a YAG and introduce the fracs and things like that. So it grows with my business, which is good.
And obviously, there's a lot of education that comes along with this, especially in Queensland. I believe your laser law's one of the toughest in the country.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But you've become a mentor to many healthcare professionals and obviously support and mentor all of your own team and those around you. How important is education and training and development? And are there any gaps that you see in the industry?
I think we have a lot of good education, great support, great, there's always workshops that we can go to, which are fantastic. And I encourage every staff member to go along. And it doesn't matter if you've already had done it. Like sometimes you'll get an answer, I went last time. But you know what? Last time you were at this level, and now you're at this level, you're going to take away from it something else. And it just keeps layering and layering and layering. So I always show up as much as I can, support my team by going myself. Every time I go, I'm learning something, So I know that if they're going, they're learning, and they always come back. And when if we've even just had a rep in talk about one product, that product then becomes, it's in your mind. So when you're consulting in the next couple of days, you're really thinking about it. So, you do become better and you're able to absorb more each time you go. So I think repetition is good. I don't think we're lacking anything per se. I think we've just got to embrace it, and we never arrive. We're always learning something or tweaking something, or, it's evolving. So, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And there's a lot of really incredible, successful aesthetic practitioners like yourself in the industry across the entire globe. What do you think separates those that are really successful?
I think it's integrity. It's also education. They're in the environment. They're trusted. I think that, we're always being watched online. So people, they see who you are. I'm the same at work as I am at home. There's no difference. I live, that's who I am. And I think people see that and are drawn to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if there was a nurse listening today who is in the hospital system, attracted to the aesthetics industry, what advice would you give them if they wanted to build a career similar to yours?
Experience and hands-on training is it. You can go away and you can do a 12-month course, which is the easy part. It's all head knowledge, but you actually need to be able to secure a position somewhere where you're going to be mentored and helped. Or I think nurses are incredibly brave when they go and train and then open a clinic. I don't know if I just couldn't have done it, and just to have, the support of staff, collaboration. My staff, I have an open door policy, and, if sometimes, it's like having children, you encourage them when they're attempting their first steps. I encourage them with their first lip, their first cheeks. And, they know themselves how well they've done or haven't done. So I never bring that down, but say, hey, you did an amazing job. So good. Because I know next time they're going to be better. And the next time they do it, they're going to be even better. It's just going to get better and better and better. So they're already pulling themselves apart, what they did wrong and how it didn't. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to add to that. So I praise them to success. And I've lost my train of thought. Yeah.
The advice that you
Oh, that's right. And that's right. Yeah. And so, sometimes, when you're starting to make those facial assessments, you're like, am I doing the right thing? And they'll say, Jodie, can you just come in and, and they'll say, this is what I see and this is what and I'm like, that is great. That's perfect. Just, you're on the right track. Go for it. And they just need that. And then, I might be sick and they've had to make that decision all on their own. And you know what? That's strengthening that inner muscle that, to build confidence in themselves as well. So that's how I do it. But not to negate that you can't just open your own clinic. It hasn't been my journey. I don't understand it. I'd be too scared. But I just think if you can try and get in somewhere where you can be shown and supported, yeah. And I guess that's also hard. So do the best you can. Work within your scope. Yeah.
And Jodie, we're going to finish up with some rapid fire questions. So that is just the first thing that comes to mind, and we'll move really quickly. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What's the best business advice you've ever received?
Oh, don't compare.
What's one habit that has contributed most to your success?
To be honest, relying on God. I am a faith-filled person and I just go to God daily and I'm like, help me today, help me to love my patients, help me to just, be that, just bring joy into their life. And He just guides and leads me.
Ah, your faith is beautiful. And has there been a movie or book that's had an impact on your life?
The Bible. It's my go-to. It's, I think it just helps in every aspect, just even negative patients or difficult patients, just learning just to, take me out of it and listen, have empathy, be able to understand, and let's work through this together. There's always a solution.
And what's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
Probably that I'm a Christian. I don't know. Probably lack confidence and incredibly humble. Yeah, I feel very ordinary. Yeah.
And what does success mean to you today?
I think just being able to, I feel like I'm flourishing. Success is, being happy at home, happy at work, happy staff. That gives me so much joy. Happy patients. That to me is a success. Yeah.
Well, Jodie, it has been such a pleasure. You are anything but ordinary. You have created a business that you can step out for an hour and do a podcast, and the business is still thriving and still running and in really great hands with the beautiful team that you've created. This is remarkable and not something that everyone can do. It's actually really, really hard.
Thank you.
So well done to you. And you're just a beautiful person with beautiful faith and grace and humility. And we're just, oh my gosh, so happy that you took the time today and grateful for your vulnerability and authenticity.
Thanks, Nicole. It's been awesome. I'm so looking forward to seeing you at Aesthetics Business Masters. Can't wait. It's going to be great.
What an inspiring conversation. Jodie's story is a powerful reminder that long-term success isn't built overnight. It's built through consistency, continuous learning, exceptional patient care, and the courage to take opportunities when they arise. From nearly 4 decades in nursing to creating a thriving aesthetic business and becoming a respected leader within the industry, her journey demonstrates what's possible when expertise meets vision. Jodie, thank you for sharing your wisdom, your experiences, and your incredible journey with us today. And thank you to everyone listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone in the aesthetics, healthcare, or business community who would benefit from this conversation. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep building your legacy. This is the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast.